The marching band season has come to an end, and we usually like to do a little bit of a recap of that, and that's what we're doing on today's PMEA's Take Note podcast. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Despotakis. Welcome to this edition of PMEA's Take Note podcast. So we are in November. We are in late November, which means for many of you, the marching band season is over or has been over for a few weeks, and you've had a chance to calm down and digest what happened. But really, the ending of the marching band season came here just a few weeks ago with Grand National Championships in Indianapolis to an end. That's kind of the official end of marching band season. So we're going to talk a little bit about the recap of the season and what trends we're seeing. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Bianca Wallace. Bianca, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, so I always tell people I could read bios and I could introduce them, but I will not do a great job because you know yourself better than I do. Tell us a little bit about you and your color guard career, kind of maybe from like what got you into it to the places you've taught.
Yeah, for sure. So all of my credit to be in color guard goes to my older sister. She was in color guard in high school, and I was like, man, that is so cool. One of her winter guard shows was when she was Michael Jackson. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get into this program. So I started color guard at Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. Go Giants.
Yep.
And then from there, I kind of moved towards an independent color guard. I was in O2 and Onyx for about 5 years. And that kind of concludes my marching activities. What didn't get to do DCI, it just me and hot weather just don't go together. But was also a caption head at Legends Drum and Bugle Corps out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. I taught at Franklin Central High School and Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm currently on staff at the Academy Drum and Bugle Corps, and then also just kind of some support teams around Indiana, and formerly worked at Broken Arrow in Tulsa, Oklahoma too as well. So lots of different schools that I've worked for, different capacities, DCI, high school, independent groups too as well. That kind of just wraps everything up for me.
Yeah, well, I like how you just like, oh yeah, and also I worked at Broken Arrow. Just Broken Arrow, right?
Just a little like a nod there.
Yeah, and well, I mean, we could probably do a whole podcast on that, which we won't. Well, maybe we will at some time. But like, I just can't even imagine working at that type of a high caliber program that has won Grand Nationals, as a perennial finalist that people look to and know that program. I mean, I guess. Well, I will ask a question. What was that like? What is that like working in a program like that?
It was so fast paced. It was so fast paced. And especially with like me coming from Indiana, which is a completely different style of band, I feel like. And then going down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I feel like within Broken Arrow, there's a lot of pride. There's a lot of traditions that were involved. So me going down there, it was just kind of like, whoa, this is a whole different experience than what I was used to with Indiana bands, which is kind of, like not so theatrical in some moments, or it was just kind of very like, here's what we're doing and just go out there and do it. Versus with Broken Arrow, I felt like there was a lot of rehearsing, a lot of like characterization, a lot of role playing that we did throughout the couple months that we were rehearsing, like throughout band camp, to where like this is how we got to the final product, was almost just like a lot of theater. That was just very different from what I was used to. And then also, oh, my cat's in the background.
That's all right. We love pets on the podcast.
He's a 3-year-old tuxedo cat. He's
Aww.
crazy. But yeah, just a lot more heavier on the role playing, a lot more theatrical movements, and like we were cowgirls, so it was just a lot of lassoing and a lot of like, pretend you're a cowgirl, run from here, run from there. But also just really cool to see how everyone leans on each other whenever they're in hard times, and how we're able to come back to that community. I was blown away at the way that the standard of excellence is at Broken Arrow. I had never been a part of anything like that before.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, but that even said, I mean, being part of Ben Davis, I mean, is an incredibly well respected program. So
Oh
it's not
yeah,
like
for
you were,
sure.
yeah, yeah. But so that's really interesting though to hear that kind of a difference there.
Yeah.
So you've been around a lot of programs. You've worked with these programs. We've mentioned some of them. So, and we kind of dove into Broken Arrow there a little bit, but is there anything that really sticks out to you generally for these groups that are able to achieve at such a high level of excellence? I mean, maybe Broken Arrow is kind of the different version of that, but even from these other groups that you around, like, is there anything that really sticks out to you?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like the key to success, especially coming from a color guard background, is perform every rep like it's your last.
Mm,
Especially, with how COVID happened and kind of ended a lot of seasons. I think that when you're able to just literally put everything you can in every single rep, when it comes to performing, it's going to be second nature. So that's something that I've kind of learned from the different programs that I've been at, where it's the more that I've seen the students perform at a high quality, or just even in practice performing at a high quality, um, that the results are not as uncertain as you would think that they would be. So that's just kind of my key takeaway is anytime that I step into in a gym or on a field, or just I'm in front of other students, especially at Bands of America's summer camp, um, just making sure that they understand the importance of like taking things seriously, and that we're just not
mm.
out here playing, you know what I mean? That if you practice the way you perform, that it'll be so much easier come the nervousness, just any anxiety that you have. You've kind of like felt that in practice, so you know how to perform when you get out on the field.
You mentioned the Bands of America, what we call it, summer camp now. Is that
Mhm.
the name? Yeah. So you're on the
I
color guard
believe
faculty
so.
there.
Yes, yes. I think this is my 5th year, which is kind of crazy to think about. It might be 4th. I'm 4th or 5th. I've lost count. Honestly, like that is the most fun. I call it like Disney of color guard. I call that the Disney week of color guard because it is absolutely incredible to meet all of these different students from all over the United States that come and traveled. I think we might have had some international kids too. I'm not sure, but just seeing like where they come from and the style of spinning, like whenever we do our auditions at the first day of camp, just to kind of see where everybody is. It's cool to see like what people call drop spins, what people call, like side spins or consecutives, or how they do their peggy spins, or just any different things that are like, oh my gosh, I would have never thought to start my drop spins from flat, or start my drop spins from the angle. So you kind of get to this big melting pot of education, and then try to navigate to try to get everybody on the same page and performing a piece at the end for their parents. So it is literally one of my favorite things. I don't think I'll ever stop doing it. I think they're gonna have to like fire me. I'll be 70 years old, old crippled in the back and can't hardly move. They'll be like, Bianca, why are you still here? But it is so cool to also teach with some of my best friends that come around from Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, just all of these different places, Ohio, to where we can come together and just socialize and get to know the other directors that are coming from the track, and provide them with information, and just be so helpful. So yeah, I love that week.
I love that you talk about how all the, like you're learning too, like these
Yes.
different styles, and like, oh, this is how they do it maybe in that part of the country. That's really fascinating to hear that's actually part of the experience for you as well.
Yes, and then just trying to make sure that you communicate clearly so that everybody's on the same page, or that the they understand the exercises that you're trying to teach them, so that they can go home and teach it back to their bands too. Because most of our kids that come, they may not have a color guard instructor, or their color guard instructor may be their math teacher or something like that, that didn't know anything about color guard. So you're kind of teaching them these things so that they can take it back to their home school so that they can like also progress and learn and be well-rounded.
Yeah, and we'll have the website up on the screen for people to go and take a look at that, because
Yes,
there's more than
please.
just color guard there. There's lots of stuff there that's
Yes.
worth
Yes,
checking out for
marching
sure.
band, middle school, concert track. There's even a music production, which I
Hmm.
think is amazing. I love watching the music production team.
It's a wonderful experience. I've never heard anyone say anything different. So it's great to hear the instructor side of it. So as I said, we're talking about the end of marching band season, indoor season right around the corner. Those rehearsals have obviously started
Yeah.
already in many places. Just all melds together. You know, I'm always curious for people who are involved in this activity. Like, what are they seeing? Like, what are the design things? What are the performance trends things that you're seeing in the activity as a whole? Is there anything that's standing out to you?
I think we've been seeing it for a while, but I will definitely hit it on the head again because I think it's absolutely incredible. But adding movement into the design aspect. Just watching hornline members be able to move as well as the color guard members, because I know that sometimes it's just like, oh, that's a girl thing, or oh, that's a color guard thing. And so it's really, really nice to see the activity evolve and change and, really lean into movement because I do feel like it's the foundation. How can you understand your body if you don't know how it moves? How can you know if you're in a good first position or turned out if you don't take those very technical exercises and practice and learn? So it's kind of like how do you know how good you can be if you if you don't practice those things? So I have noticed a lot of heavy dancing that's been involved in people's performances, which I love. I love watching even beginners move and how it evolves and shapes and forms. Um, and so I'm just really, really excited to see movement being provided within the activity.
It's from a musician standpoint, that movement and body training
Hmm.
helps the playing.
Ooh, okay. Yeah,
And it's no coincidence that these bands that move really well
play
are
really.
also the bands that play really well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And the nuance, because I mean, I think as music educators, there's always sit up straight and pay attention to posture.
Mhm.
But when you start to talk about it as the full body works
Yeah.
on the move, it changes that a lot. And I think that then that actually makes the band play better because you're paying attention to more of those nuanced details. So we can thank the dance and color guard world for making the musician world a lot better, I think.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. As you're speaking on behalf of everybody. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So we do have a lot of students and music educators that watch this podcast. Is there any advice that you can offer from somebody who is, again, looking at your experience of seeing a lot of different programs out there and being part of these programs? To take their personal skill levels or their ensemble skill levels to the next level. Are there some, like, here's the tip and the trick that I saw that they might be able to apply?
Yeah, I always go through, and whenever I was like teaching legends or they would learn some hard choreography, I'd always say, like, give yourself 24 hours. The sleep on it technique. I think a lot of people they don't believe in the sleep on it technique, but if you just go home and you go to bed, think about it before bed. You don't have to necessarily do it. You could kind of air flag or, use your fingering, whatever you're doing. But just think about it right before bed, go to bed, wake up, and you will feel so much more refreshed when you come back to that activity that you were like, oh my gosh, I can't do this choreography, this 8 counts. I don't know how I'm going to figure it out. you will magically somehow be able to do it. So don't fret if you don't get something right at the beginning. Just go home, think about it, meditate on it, sleep on it, come back, be refreshed for a new day.
I like that. And, I also think one of the messages I'm getting from you is, don't be afraid to like ask what you don't know, you know,
Yeah.
as it comes from the camp experience when you're talking about these students who come from a situation where, it might be the math teacher who's never done color guard teaching the color guard.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's just, it is what it is. But like, there's so many resources out there now to help people through that. And, summer camp is one of them.
Yes. Summer camp is one of them. I love YouTube. Oh my gosh. I love YouTube. Just be careful because there's some dangerous tricks
Right.
out there on YouTube. So make sure you're not going to go to the hospital or get a
Right.
concussion. But yeah, definitely just keep at it. Try not to freak out. Let all that anxiety go away. And just keep trying it. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice it, the better you'll be. So yeah, that's kind of my advice too, is just use your resources. The internet is great. And then yeah, just if anybody, that you can kind of reach out to. I feel like everybody in the community is pretty open and helpful. So if I see a DM like, hey, will you look at this video for me? I'm like, yes, absolutely. I would love to look at this video for you. So I think that is a thing too, is that we have a lot of resources at our fingertips now with the internet, and to just don't be afraid to use it. And then also just kind of make sure that you're taking things safely, and that you have the foundation, the your fundamentals, so that you can achieve. I think that would be another thing too, is really, really rely on your technique. Your
Right.
technique exercises may be boring, but they are teaching you a lot of great skills that you can transfer to more advanced skills.
And YouTube is the place to go now as marching band season is over. If you still need the fix, you can
Oh
find it
yeah.
there because it's going to be a while here before indoor really starts up. But look, we have next week we have the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and then in a few months we have the Rose Bowl Parade, which attract, of course, some of the highest quality marching bands and color guards around. So those are great opportunities to check it out as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, Bianca, thanks for being with us today and sharing some great insights for people. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I really had fun. I would love to do this again.
Absolutely. Well, then maybe we'll have you back next year as our recap of marching band season next year,
Yeah,
because we like to do these at least once a year. So thanks for being with us. We appreciate it.
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for being with us on this edition of PMEA's Take Note podcast. We want to thank our sponsors, the Grove City College Department of Music and Zezwitz Music. We'll see you next time.